Okay, this is the director's panel for Mr. Kazuhiro Furuhashi, and we're very happy to have him here. And, oh, thank you. We've had a couple of panels with Mr. Furuhashi over the last couple of days. Who has not attended Furuhashi panel? Okay, so actually most of you. Okay, that's good. I didn't want to rehash some of the same topics that we went over the last couple of days. So today I was going to kind of moderate the panel from our side, and then towards the end we can get into some questions. But I thought we might kind of take it into two topics. Number one, what is it about being a producer? That's his main role. He's not involved in the drawings or any of the art styles or anything, but when it comes to producing, what's important, what's his history, what does he recommend, those kind of things. And then I thought we'd ask him some questions about himself. Who are you? What do you do in your spare time? Do you have any spare time? those types of things. So with that, I guess we'll jump right into it. I'm going to translate some things, and I also have Kazumi here to help out, so we're going to double team. So bear with us during the translation portion. So we'll start with producing. All right, so first of all, I'm going to ask the question in English so everyone knows what I'm asking, and then I'm going to jump into the Japanese. So I was going to ask him, when it comes to producing, how much preparation goes into producing a particular project? So when it comes to getting into Gundam, for example, the first thing that he did when he was asked to produce Gundam Unicorn, which I think you're all familiar with, his first thing was, I've got to read a lot of Gundam now. So his first thing was to start reading about Gundam to appeal to the fan base.
劇場版ガンダム123ガンダム3を見直しました。
はい。So besides just reading the manga, that he also went back and watched Gundam 3, if you're familiar with that, and rewatched those series to refamiliarize himself with it.
お話をいただいてから1話の公開するまでに1年ぐらい。はい。
So he actually, we asked him how long does it take to start preparation for that, and he said it actually took about 1 year to research everything about Gundam to prepare for Gundam Unicorn. The next question I was going to ask him, kind of related to that, is because you're in charge of a big project now. Did you feel any pressure to, I guess, appeal to the fan base and make sure you got everything right since you're new to the project?
Mm-hmm. 会社はもうガンダムをずっと作り続けていたサンライズという会社なので、そこに関してはもうスペシャリストが揃っている、私が一番知らない。
So he said when he was hired to become the producer for Gundam Unicorn, it was part of the Sunrise group, And there were a number of specialists about Gundam in Sunrise that he could rely on, and he had to do that because he knew nothing about Gundam to begin with.
で尾形プロデューサーから頼まれたのはそのルロイケーション OVA 強く編を見て仕事を頼みたいと言われたので、キャラクターのドラマの部分を抑えればあとはフォローしますと。
So I think besides just getting ready for the OVAs, he also he rewatched some dramas, I think, to familiarize himself with character interaction.
いやそれ以前に作った OVA を尾形プロデューサーが見て、それで仕事が来たので、私としてはドラマ部分を作ればそれ以外のことはスタッフがやってくれると。
So I may not translate it properly, but I think, yeah, Mr. Ogata said that for the OVAs, it's probably best to rewatch some dramas, I think, yeah, and kind of familiarize yourself with some character development to use it on Gundam. I may not have got that completely right, so we'll have to rewind the tape to make sure we got that translation. Okay. And I don't know if you've watched it or read through his bio, but I think Furuhashi-san has been involved in some video game production, not just OVAs and TV. So I was going to ask him, is there any difference between approaching producing for video games versus OVAs or TV? テイルズ・オブ・アビスの劇中ムービー、テイルズシリーズ、アビスとリバースという、はい、2つのタイトルの劇中 Tales of Abyss, I think, is the English title. It's a PlayStation game, is that right? Tales of Abyss. Okay, there you go. So he was part of that. So I was going to ask him how different was it approaching that versus OVA? ゲームは長い時間をかけて作りますね。20分を1年かけます。 So, just to make 20 minutes worth of video game related, I guess, production and to direct it, just for that 20 minutes, it takes about a year's worth of prep versus, I think, a little bit shorter in terms of OVAs or TV. I asked him, so was it fun working on the video game? He said, not at all.
私ゲームやらないんで。
He doesn't play video games much, so maybe that's for the younger generation.
だからゲームやる人にどうやれば喜ばれるのかちょっとわからなかったですね。
So he doesn't actually know the reaction for people who play that game. Has anyone played? Are you familiar with Tales of Abyss? Okay. How did you like it?
It was good.
It was good.
あ、そうありがとう。ゲームが劇中ムービーなので、ゲーム対応してないんですよ。ゲームやってる途中で映像流れて、でまたゲームやって、また映像流れて。だからまあそれが別にゲームっぽいって作りじゃなくて、まあ普通に作ります。はい。
So she was asking, I mean, how do you approach video game related direction versus others, and if you actually are you involved with the video game making process? He said, no, not really. You know, I approach it the same way I would just producing anything or directing anything. It just doesn't make any difference. I was also going to ask him if he was approached to do another video game in the future. Would he be happy to do it? He said yes. All right.
やらないゲームはもういい。
Okay,
No,
so,
thank
but
you.
actually, if it really came down to it, if it's just his choice, he'd probably say, I'd have to think about it because it took me, a year to prepare for it, so it's kind of tough.
やっぱ好きな人がやった方がいい。
So it's better to just leave it to somebody who loves, producing and directing video games as opposed to myself. That's probably different generations. Better to leave it up to them. I was also going to ask him another question. Just overall, he's been involved with Rurouni Kenshin. Are you guys familiar with that? Okay, any applause? Okay. Ranma 1/2. Yes, all right. Yes, we have a fan right there. He noticed you at the beginning, by the way. Of all those things, I was going to ask him which of those was his favorite to produce.
Eh, こちらでやってないかもしれないんですけど、RD という作品をやっておりま
Are you
して。
familiar with Real Drive?
リアルドライブ。
Real Drive?
リアルドライブ。
Yeah. That's a Japanese show. Oh, okay, we got some applause. So that was actually his favorite
リ
project.
ア
So,
ルドライブが、ライフワーク。
so he recommends if you haven't seen it, please go and rent it. Or
地
if it's on-
味な話、地味で、でも未来そうなっていくかなっていう。はい。
It's not first used.
主人公。
So there might be a new one in the future, but Furuhashi-san may not be involved with
主人
that.
公がすごい年寄り。メインキャラクター、70とか80とか、そういう作品、はい、他にないんじゃないですかね、アニメーションってなかなか。
Seems like the main character is like in 70s, so I don't think that he doesn't think there is no other animation that the main character is in 70s, kind of old age.
老人ホームとかでもう常備してもらって、将来みんな年寄りになったらそのアニメを見てくださいっていう、そういうコンセプト。いや、違いますよ。その作品を実際に常備してほしい、はい、というコンセプト。要するにお年寄りになっても見れるアニメっていう。
He thinks that he made the anime because of when you get old and you can have this video when you're, you can bring it into the retirement house with you. You can enjoy, when you're in 70s or 80s. Yeah.
Okay. So switching gears a little bit, I was going to ask him, of course, he's been involved in so many projects so far. What is he doing now in particular? What type of projects is he working on? So I thought you might be interested to hear.
短いやつを少しずつ、クジャク王というやつの店頭 PV が1本、店頭でお店で本屋さんで流すような短いやつ1本。
So he's not really attached to any particular studio now. He's doing more freelance work, and one thing that he's working on now is something called Kujak.
クジャク王
And it's based on, I think, original Japanese series or manga.
3分ぐらい、3 minutes 短い
Little 3-minute shorts that they're producing and he's directing. So that's going on in Japanese TV right now. I asked him, are you enjoying it? He said no. Okay, I thought we'd ask him, of course, looking at Ranma 1/2, Rurouni Kenshin, all those things. Some of those stories have kind of sputtered out. We haven't seen anything new or any reboots or anything. Hunter x Hunter has been rebooted, so to speak. A lot of you guys know that. Okay, thank you. He's not involved with the newest Hunter x Hunter. He was more involved with the previous one. But I was going to ask him, are there any of your former projects that you directed that you'd like to revisit or reboot, so to speak?
あ、あんたの場合、ランマは監督は OVA が1本しかやってないので、そうですね、まあそうですね、ランマならもう一回やってもいいかなと思います。
Okay. So he said in the case of Hunter x Hunter, that's already been taken care of. Someone else is already doing that. But if somebody approached him from the studio or something, said, we really want to do Ranma 1/2 again. He would love to do it. He would love to do it. So I'm asking
オ
him.
リジナルを作りましたね。はい、原作にないお話を何本か作って。
So I asked him, what was the best experience of working on Ranma 1/2? You know, it's a good series, and it's interesting, but what was the best experience? He said it was refreshing to take something original, something that wasn't really based on a large volume of work in the past, and just kind of go with it. So as a director, that was satisfying. One final question as it relates to directing, and then I'll maybe shift gears to a different topic. So I was going to ask him, and maybe Kazuhiro-san, you can help me out with this, but as a director, you can rely on a number of specialists to handle different things in your work. You can rely on the artists, the storyboard people, the people involved in dubbing, everything. You have a lot of people as a director you can rely on. But are there any particular things in directing that you can't control, something that you wish you had more hands-on with that you could do?
選曲。はい、選曲演出ってわかる。選曲 BGM セレクト。
Okay. So he said, amongst all those things that I listed, if he could have input on one particular thing, it would be in the background music.
Ah, スケール感があってでマイナーな感じで、いやもうそういう曲調が好き、今流れてる、
はい、今流れてるような感じ
でも第9地区のサントラとかすごい好きですね。第9地区。
So he asked him if you had to choose a particular band or genre, I think, to put his background music. He said Skeleton.
ゼログラビティのサントラもいいね。ゼログラビティ、わかるでしょ。
ゼログラビティ
ですね。
あ、こちらとただのグラビティ。
はい。
日本がゼロついちゃったけど、ただのグラビティ。
He
サン
likes
トラ。
the Gravity soundtrack, something like that.
アマゾンで買いました。
Oh, he bought it on Amazon. He liked it so much. Okay, maybe I'll let the audience ask a few questions on producing related things, and then I'm going to change gears a little bit. So we'll take a few questions and we'll jump back to kind of moderate, if that's okay. So any questions as it relates to directing? Yes?
When you changed from using cells, Dogas and things like that, over to computer animated focus, was there any big change in your department? Anything major that happened with your role as it pertains to managing the animation?
So just to repeat the question, if you didn't hear in the back, in his work in the past, working or moving from 2D cell animation and I guess starting to work more on 3D things, was your approach any different in directing as you see more and more 3D work, I guess, to paraphrase? Is that basically okay?
シェルがついてはい。ガンダムユニコーンはメカニックの一部が 3D です。一部です。全部じゃないです。半分ぐらいですね、メカニックの。はい。そんなには変わんないですね。モーションを作ります。手書きで。手書きで全部モーションを作ります。だから変わんないです。
So overall, when it comes to 3D animation, the things that you see more of these days is, of course, mechs, things that are more technical. So sometimes they'll outsource those things because they're very difficult to draw by hand. So they can rely on studios even outside of Japan to help on that. So in Korea or something like that. But in terms of his approach to, how did I say, directing, whether it's just old 2D cell animation versus 3D, totally the same. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good question. Any other question? Yes.
I have a question that's kind of about funding, so it's kind of in production and whatnot. With recent shows like Little Witch, I think it's Little Witch Academia, and one that's currently searching for funding, Under the Dome. Do you think that it is a good thing or a bad thing for the industry that you're starting to see more crowdsourcing happening rather than traditional funding sources that kind of filter out, you know, not to sound negative, but like, you know, kind of as a quality control almost? Or,
Okay. What was the first title that you mentioned? Little
Witch Academia.
Academia, okay, and Under the Dome?
Yeah.
Okay. So his question was, for projects, newer projects like Little Witch Academia and Under the Dome, these are more crowd-funded, and what is his approach to, from the writer, what's his point of view?
What's his opinion on the effects it's going to have? Does he think it's going to be good for the industry or have a negative impact on it?
Okay.
はい。クラウド。おお、はい。そうですね。監督としては作品が作れればお金の集め方は何でも、そこは問わないと思いますので、作り続けられることが一番ですね。だから、いろんな方法でなんとか回収できるそういうモデルをビジネスモデルを作ってもらえるならもうこだわらないですね、どんなシステムでも。やったことないのでわからないですね。
Okay, so to paraphrase, as a producer, it really doesn't matter to him how things get funded, so to speak, as long as funding is there and he has something to produce, or direct rather, he's happy. But when it comes to the industry overall, he's not so sure. Maybe it's kind of early because he's not so familiar with the crowdfunding approach to things. That's kind of new for him. In his experience, everything's been funded from the studio and they just say, here, go with it. Here's how much of a budget you have and go run with it. So he's not so sure how that's going to turn out with certain projects in the future, but good question. Question?
There were lots of cases where lighting and pacing were very important.
So the question was, in Rurouni Kenshin, there's a lot of instances of lighting, either off of the face or from swords or something like that. And let me see if I got this right, but if it came out from a director's point of view, the same way it did in the storyboards, right? And did it turn out the way he expected?
No, I tried to manage the team in order
To make sure. Okay. Okay.
本って私が書いた本ってもう、見れるものもあると思うので、書き込み具合はそれを、どっかで見ていただけば分かりますけど、絵描きであればその要点を理解できるけれども、それ以上を縛らないような、その微妙なバランスを保たないと、細かく描きすぎちゃうと結構枷になってしまうので、方向は分かるけれども、それ見た絵描きはじゃあさらにそれに上乗せしようというような、そういう気持ちが起こるような、触発するような、抑え込むんじゃなくて触発するようなコンテにしたいなと思って書いてますが、できてるかどうかは分かんないです。
So this is, he says, a difficult question to answer, and it's an equally difficult question to translate. He didn't really speak so much to your question in terms of lighting, but he answered it in a little bit different way. So his position as a director is to make sure, of course, that the storyboards end up the way that I guess the overall directing manager or the chief directing manager wants to see it, and he kind of relies on those guys to do their job, and if they're satisfied with what they've done, then he's okay with it. He doesn't really pinpoint and say, "Hey, you didn't do that right," and do it again, or so.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
He doesn't want to step in too much because that will give them too much pressure. So he wants to keep the good quality, but at the same time, he wants to encourage all the workers for him. So it's very difficult to find a balance of that.
Okay. Any other questions as it relates to directing? If not, I'm going to jump into a little bit different topic and just ask about Furuhashi-san himself, because over the last couple of days I haven't really heard much about him. It's just more about his work. So I'll have to apologize to him in advance to be a little too personal, but すみません、質問してるんですね。特に今までの Actually, I'm going to start in the English. Sorry, I was in Japanese mode for a second. So I was going to ask him, how many anime conventions have you been to so far, and do you have a particular one that you enjoyed more than the other?
10年前にアニメエキスポで、その後ドイツの、6年前、5年前、6年前ドイツに行きました。で、その後で、香港とか、あと、一昨年フランス、で去年10年ぶりにまたロサンゼルスに行きました。去年で、今年こう。あともう本当に熱気があってエネルギーをもらえますので、何度も素晴らしいし、本当にアニメーション好きな方に伝わってきます。 そうです。
Okay, so he said he actually started going to conventions more like 10 years ago. And since then, he's been to Germany about 6 years back. He's also been to Anime Fest in Hong Kong, France, a couple of times to LA, and of course, Dallas for the first time this time. So we're really happy to have him here. And he said he particularly likes Dallas so far. So yes. Okay, I was also going to ask him, as it relates to that international travel, I mean, has he enjoyed anything particular about his travels to all these anime fests? And was there anything difficult about those particular international travels?
日本語しか喋れないので街中はあんまりふらふら出歩けないので、もう翻訳の方についてもらっているのでもうツアーになっちゃってるのでそんな面白いことはなかなかハプニングが起こらないですね。
So when it comes to international travel, I always have to rely on people like these guys up here to help me out because I don't speak any English. Typically when I go out, I'll stick around the hotel or something. So if you see me walking around, please do say hello.
But he told me that he was kind of walking around in France, Paris, and he got lost, and he was 30 minutes late for his panel.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I heard. So I was like, okay, slightly different.
Google Glass. Google Glass. He goes, what is this all?
迷子になった話。あ、そうそうそう。フランス凱旋門行って迷子になった。あれは勝手に行っちゃったんで。
That was the only time he went outside and got lost, so he doesn't want to do it anymore.
You always bring it to PS with you, that's what I do.
Oh, that's true.
He said,
Yeah.
yes. Agreed. Okay. So, I was also going to ask him just about his personal life. He was telling us previously that he's so busy working, he doesn't really have time for, I guess, free time. He doesn't have a lot of hobbies, honestly, because he's just constantly working. In Japanese, we call that a hataraki bachi, which means worker bee. So he's kind of a worker bee, I think. But I was going to ask him, if I was to go to your house, what would I see? Is there anything that you bring home with you from work, like any Gundam plastic models or anything like that?
全くないことはないんですけど、自分では買わないですね。いやだって息狭くなってる。
Okay, so
小さいうちに住んでるからダメですよ。
okay, so I asked him if I was going to go to your house, would it be littered with like Gundam models and posters and things like that, from your previous works? And he said, not at all. He doesn't bring his work home with him. And one of the reasons is, in Japan, houses are smaller. You don't have room to just stack up, pile up, all sorts of things from previous job experiences. But he does have a few things that people have given to him throughout the years that have personal, I guess, attachment.
本は図書館 ないんで調べるので別に買わない。
So we were asking if he had any particular books that he goes out and buys or anything. He said, no, same thing, because I don't have any space. I just borrow them from the library, and then when I'm done with them, I can take them back to save space.
だからこの探してますけどね、何が面白いか。
So I thought it'd be interesting to ask him, is there anything on TV today that he would be interested in, or any particular books that he's reading that he could share with us? Unfortunately, he said, I'm too busy. I don't have anything to share. Any recommendations from the audience? Anything you would recommend for him to try? Any books? What's that? Game of Thrones. Trying to think how to explain Game of Thrones to him. That's a very complicated book series. He said, yeah, I'd like to watch it. I don't know how. We don't have HBO in Japan. If anyone has DVDs they want to mail to Furuhashi-san, then... They said, yeah, I'd like to get it, but I don't know when I'll have time to watch it, so I can't promise if you send it to me I'll have time to see it. Yeah, but thank you for the recommendation. Any other Game of Thrones fans in here? Okay, there's a few. Okay. So one final question, at least from the moderators, I thought we would ask him. Kind of a heavy question, but if he wasn't a producer in his life today, what would he be? He's in deep thought.
対人が苦手なので、サービス業が苦手なので、一人でコツコツ何か、いや文章苦手だったんで、そうですね、技術職の何かでしょうかね。
So he said he's not particularly artistic,
エンジニア、
and he's not musically inclined, but he's more technically inclined, so he might be some kind of engineer. Any other engineers? All right, you can talk to him after the panel. You guys can talk and continue your talk. Okay, at least from the moderators, that was all I had. Kazuhiro-san, anything else you'd like to ask or thought would be interesting? Okay, so we got a few more minutes, so I thought I might open it up to questions from the audience, just anything in general. So you're the first one to raise your hand.
Since you are so busy, like what does your normal diet consist of? Do you have time to actually eat healthy, or do you mainly just eat ramen?
So the question was, since you're so busy, how do you eat? Do you eat healthy, or do you just end up eating a lot of junk food from the convenience stores?
Ramen. 同居している人がいるのでご飯作ってもらってますね。でジャンクフードもっていうかチェーン店の、ね、ご飯屋さんもたまには行きますけど、でも減らすようにしてます。内臓がやる。
So he has food. Okay, we got 2 minutes. So his liver, yeah,
Cancelled.
so he has food prepared for him most of the time. His family makes food. It's typically healthy. It's Japanese food, as most, it's healthy, as Japanese food typically is. But he tries to find the time to go and eat some fast food every now and then, just some comfort food, I guess you could say. But he has to be careful because of his stomach. He's got a slight condition, so he doesn't want to go overboard.
But I heard that he worked until like 4 in the morning, so it's gonna be pretty difficult.
夜働いて昼間寝てるんですが、別に寝てないわけないですよ。
Yeah, so she's right. I just double checked it.
ないとないです。
Okay, so yeah, diet is important. So thank you for considering this. Any other questions? Yellow shirt?
Is there an anime that you wanted to produce, but you never got the chance to? And which one was that?
Yeah, he said if there was any anime projects that he could have done, that he would have liked to done, it would be Space Battleship Yamato. Yeah.
やられちゃった。
Somebody else did it, not me, for the new ones. Any Yamato fans in the audience? Okay. Does anyone know the song? You want to sing it? Any other question? Probably have time for 2 or 3 more. Yeah, in the gray shirt.
Just as someone who's inside the animation industry in Japan, is there like a general understanding of how gigantic anime is in the United States and how kind of important it is to popular culture here?
Good question. So the question was, as being in Japan and a Japanese anime producer, are you aware of how popular the anime world is outside of Japan, particularly here in America, right?
まあ、10年前にイベントを行ったんで、そこから海外でもこんなに人気あるんだっていうのは、そこで認識して10年経ちました。少しずつ大きくなってるんですね。
So,
徐々に増えて。
So he wasn't too aware of how big the industry was until he started going to events about 10 years ago. And that when he went to LA for the first time, and that really opened his eyes up to like, oh wow, there's this many fans here that love anime, especially here in the States. And he heard it a little bit before coming to the States, but over those 10 years, he's seen that it's grown little by little every year. So especially here in Dallas, he's seen a lot of fans. So he's very thankful for everybody to be here. Okay, I think maybe one more. Yes.
Rurouni Kenshin, the TV series, I understand the anime got ahead of the manga. The mangaka was a little slow, and I wonder what that experience was like having to come up with the story to continue the TV series on a schedule.
Okay.
And how do they do that?
Okay. The question was in Rurouni Kenshin, the animated series on TV actually accelerated ahead of the manga. So from a director's point of view, how did you handle that, and how did you manage, I guess, the balance?
Yeah, come up with stories that would kind of fit, but...
Right, okay.
原作はもう間をなしに続いていて戻るつもりだったので、ある地点まで行って、そこに何かを足すのですけど、それは抜けるようにしなければいけなかったんですよ。でないとその次があると思っていたので、なかったんですけどね、だから結局時間は進められないし、 人間関係も深められないし、要するに全然謙信が獅子王よりも強い敵が出てきちゃうと問題が出ちゃうわけです。結局もう要するに時間稼ぎで入れてキャンセルできるものにしなきゃいけなかったんです。そこが非常に厳しかった。
Okay, I'll try to translate. That's a little bit heavy, but you are right. But they had to be very careful about getting too far ahead, even though it did get ahead. But they needed to make sure that they kept the fan base involved for the manga side of things, and encouraged them not to let too many things go too far ahead. So they intentionally slowed some things down on the TV series. I guess similar to how they're going to have to do with Game of Thrones and writing, right? So I think they took a similar approach to that. But he said yes, it was very, very difficult to handle from a director's point of view. So I think in terms of time, that's about it for us. We're going to have to head on to the next event. So we want to thank everyone for coming. Let's hope Furuhashi-san comes back next time. One thing I've done in the last two panels that we've been having for him is I've had everyone say howdy at the beginning just as a Texas greeting because I want to get him to say howdy. That was my goal. And then, so can everyone give him a nice little howdy? Howdy! Okay, excellent. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Enjoy the event.
Y'all.
Y'all. Howdy, y'all.